What up, guys? Welcome to our Civil War review. This is the NoNamers film reviews, right? I mean, I don't know. It's not film history. This movie just happened.
To review, it's not history.
It just happened.
For the most part.
We're getting a little late to the game, but we're gonna be doing our review on Captain America: Civil War.
It's because we don't want to be pieces of shit and spoil things for everybody.
We do, yeah.
No
I feel
spoilers.
I feel now we could spoil things, right?
We gave you a week.
So we're gonna have, yeah.
No,
If you haven't,
still say no spoilers.
No spoilers about it.
The spoiler alert.
hashtag spoiler alert, just in case. I don't know.
Also, this is a preview for next week's episode. As our guest
Missfitharley.
is going to be on our 3-year anniversary review.
For our podcast that we host on this channel. Okay, so first of all, did you guys like the movie?
Yes.
I did. I really enjoyed it.
It's my favorite Marvel movie.
All right, so
I don't know about favorite, but I enjoyed it.
you rank it as your favorite Marvel movie. So do I.
I don't.
Where does it rank for you?
It's probably like my fourth movie in
Fourth?
the Marvel. Yeah, because
What's in front of it?
All right.
So Guardians of the Galaxy,
All right. That's the one.
That's
that
the
I
only
accept.
one, maybe.
Ant-Man,
That's the one I accept.
Ant-Man.
I can accept
Ant-Man,
that.
Well, you're accepting everything.
The Avengers, the original, just because it was the
Historic.
original.
Well, it's
it was
because those
historical. It was the first time you actually seen all these action heroes successfully in one movie.
Those are 3 movies that you got a fresh take on a Marvel property. So I can accept those.
Exactly, and then it would be Civil War.
Yeah. Like if you were to say like
Winter Soldier, I would take.
Iron Man, I
Maybe.
wouldn't take Winter
Ooh,
Soldier.
really?
Because I feel like this is the best Captain America film to date.
Exactly,
Wow.
Because you get a better Winter Soldier in this one.
Well, you
And you still get the
and a
Winter
better
Soldier that
Captain
you got.
America.
And you get the same Winter Soldier you got. Yeah, and you get the best version of Captain America.
hmm So that's my ranking.
see. I feel like your rankings based on movies you went to see that you didn't expect.
To really like, but that
And then
isn't that
they
what it
got you.
is? Isn't that what it is? Isn't that what it should
That's
be?
movies, though.
That's true.
But I think another thing you have to take into account is rewatchability. That's why I rank this as my favorite, because rewatching this movie, I still loved it the second time.
So many favorite-
much.
I
Okay.
did love it better
I
the
was
second
so
time.
giddy.
What do you guys think about the balance between comedy and action?
Oh, perfectly done by the Russo brothers.
Always.
I feel like Age of Ultron was so unbalanced. Just like as far as like they tried the set pieces and some parts didn't work.
I think, see, the thing with Age of Ultron that suffers is expectation killed the goodness of that movie, because it's like it's not a bad movie and it's not a great movie, but it's a, like, to me it's good. Isn't that it serves its purpose of like it gave you a movie and it set up a lot of things to come.
And what do you think? Do you think Captain America Civil War was helped that it had, 12 movies in front of it?
12 movies in front of it.
You know, because as a movie, like if no one knew about any of these Marvel characters, it's like as a standalone movie, does it still work as a like by itself? Do people need to know what has happened and like the history between these characters? Like why are they fighting, or like was everybody's motivations clear?
I think the motivations were clear. I think what you might not get as much is how deep their friendships are all. But again, that isn't played or necessary to the film, because it's just like you're gonna see superheroes fight over ideology of like, should we be controlled or should we not be controlled? Because if you notice, like, the emotional motive behind Tony's actions is his guilt.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like, yo.
But I mean, if you watch Avengers 1, you already see a rift between Captain America and Iron Man. I mean, you see them like tell each other, let's go out here and like let's duke it out.
That's who's leader, yeah.
And the homeboy's like, you're no one without a suit, and the other fool's like, you're no one without that fucking serum. And I feel like that. I mean, so I feel like having 12 movies in front of it helped it, but.
It helped the emotion of it, but I don't think it necessarily helps the story drive of it. I think people could understand it without.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. I think it's as a standalone movie, it's a great movie. But like stuff between Vision and Scarlet Witch, you know,
But they only came up in the last movie, and they're barely establishing their role.
But their relationship and like how much he cares about her, and enough where like.
Well, the only scene you would get where that was established in the Ultron is when he saves her.
That's about
I mean, that's what established
most
it.
of the work is done in this movie. I think has started in this movie, and you're actually starting to see Vision struggle. And I think that's kind of a test to like the humility part of it. In Ultron, there was no humility in Vision or in Ultron. You had James Spader, who is playing like an evil, just sinister character, his sinister voice. There wasn't much comedy there. Same thing with Vision. Once Jarvis took over, there wasn't much comedy there. And I think that in this movie,
when he picks up the Thor hammer?
Well, that's about it. But in this movie, you're starting to see his humility, especially in that scene where he's making the paprika for Scarlet Witch, and you start seeing that feeling, that emotion. And even when he has a monotonous voice, and this is attesting to just the actor, he's just attesting to him, like that monotonous voice, but yet you still hear that compassion that he has for Scarlet Witch, and that kind of just solidified Vision.
When he tells her, like, I want the world to see you as I see you.
Exactly, and that
he's more human.
That gave him some humility.
How great was Bucky's and Falcon's relationship?
That
like in the Volkswagen, when he's like, "Can you scoot up?"
To me, it's so perfect because it's like that's exactly how like when two friends of a friend meet.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happens.
The initial relationship is based on like I'm closer to our mutual friend than you are.
You get lioness about it. It's territorial.
It's so territorial that it's like that's exactly how it is in real life. Because it's like for example, when me and Arthur used to get along, it's like the only thing that me and him got about was either we make fun of Nestor because that's our anchor point, or we try to see like who's closer, and that's how it is until you of course make your own bond, which I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, I thought they were the second best duo in that film.
And they also low-key kind of had a moment when he kisses. They kind of both are like, they're all both proud of the boy.
They both get jealous. It was like that heterosexual, like, jealousy.
Yeah, that's my boy,
but at the same time, like, yeah, exactly. It was so perfect. They were my second best duo. I do have a duo that don't go together, but that were my two favorite people. And I think they were dynamic in this the movie, my first set. And I think they made the movie. Even though they're not related in any sort of...
Which two?
Content. Ant-Man and Spider-Man made the movie for me. I think they killed it, and I think they brought it home. I think without them, it would have been so different.
I think they're parallel as the funny guy on both sides. They played their roles so perfectly. Like both their one-liners,
they killed it.
Their little quotes, like they were so good. Like they were just funny.
Their comedy was on point. Like when he comes down and he like takes his mask off and he's like, anyone has some orange slices?
Exactly. And it's not just their spoken comedy, it's their physical comedy. They know how to be comedic with their bodies and just kind of bring that laughter. And I thought without them, that movie would have been nothing. That tarmac scene would have been nothing. They brought so much light to that scene.
Like everyone knew that there was a splash page coming like to life in the tarmac scene. And for those who don't know, it's a centerfold. It's like when you pick up a comic book. When you pick up a comic book, you open it up. It's like in the middle. Yeah, it's like a poster almost.
That's where the staples
are.
Where everyone.
That's the centerfold.
And it's supposed to like you're supposed to see everyone fighting or like
that was brilliant.
Yeah, and I think
that's the one that was shot in IMAX.
That scene almost brought tears to my eyes.
That's the one that was shot in real IMAX.
When you see them running head to head, oh god, my panties got so
on
wet.
Age of Ultron,
and of course, and then you hear Spider-Man go, they're not stopping.
Yeah, what are we doing, guys? That was brilliant. He was brilliant. Tom Holland, I praise you. You are an amazing kid.
That is the best combination of Peter Parker and Spider-Man that's been on film. Like before, to me, Tobey Maguire was the best manifestation of Peter Parker, and
kind of a little sad.
And to me, Andrew Garfield was the best representation
of Spider-Man.
But Tom Holland perfectly
combines both
together, because it's like this is a teenage boy. You see the nerdiness, you see the anxiety, you see the essence of Spider-Man, and you see the essence of
Peter
Parker.
Had that chemistry with Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. Like it was so there. It was what you had been waiting for. I think the biggest thing I was hesitant about was that banter between Iron Man, Tony Stark, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker. And from the beginning, from when he walks in the door and responds and is like, whose car is that? That he just sold it. It was there. And you knew in that moment that chemistry.
And he's rocking that pizza shirt from where And the other Spider-Man movies where he works
Hello,
from,
Easter egg.
He's rocking that pizza shirt, and it's like,
but also
that's New York,
that he's
dog.
a dumpster diver, dog.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? That he's out there collecting VCRs
I love the recap of his day when he's like, I had such a good day today, man.
You know,
I caught my train on time.
Yes.
I aced the algebra test, and someone just lets this DVD player lay around, man. And like,
This is
that's
brilliant.
perfect for him. Like, that's his teenage life. Like, that's teenage life. Like, you're so zoned in on your own life that like the smallest things can make your day.
right.
And that's what he's like. He's still a kid at heart, even though he's out here saving people.
Right.
And I know I've said this before, but I think his reincarnation of Spider-Man is even better than the 90s animated series. And that's saying a lot because for most of us,
Right.
the 90s animated series
Is
of
Spider-Man.
anything is
90s animated
is our foundation.
90s animated Spider-Man is the equivalent to 90s animated Batman.
Mhm.
Like those are pinnacle.
They're staples.
Exactly.
I mean,
reincarnations
also,
of those.
X-Men.
Yeah, same thing.
You know.
Those are for us. That's the pinnacle. Like that. Those are the representations to live by.
I don't know.
I think Tom Holland. Yeah,
but I mean, they
best.
also set up a lot. Like, he gives them like, why do you fight? Like, what are you all about? And he
Mhm.
tells them, like, look, man, I just got these powers.
Yeah.
I just got these powers. And he didn't have to give them, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
He gave them the same
I
speech
thought
that we've
that was
heard.
perfect.
How many fucking times we heard
I
that
was
speech?
so glad that we didn't hear
Yeah.
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, I was
It's
like,
been
dude,
played out so
I mean,
much.
that's his motto,
it's
but
quintessential, but
Yeah, like he pretty much says like, yo,
he still knew.
I'm who I am and I've been, but now that I have these power chains, like I would love to play
Like-
sports. I'd love to be
like, who wouldn't want to come back to
Using
high
these-
school and just be like this whole new guy? You know, with all these powers, and now
while
you
you're in
could
high
do
school.
shit. Yeah.
While you're in high school, like you can reinvent yourself and become the top of the top because like no one's stronger than you.
And like
No.
you said, help the little guy. And when he's talking about the little guy, he's talking about the little nerd that was us, like in high school.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. It's not even the little guy
But
societal. It's the
he's
little
like,
guy
but-
in high school.
And he's trying to help you. And then now they don't have to give, like, the first Spider-Man movie does not have to set him up. They already showed him with his old suit. He has a new suit made by Tony. You know, I love how they explain that, like, because his spider senses are so high, everything's so dialed up that like so much information's coming in that like they needed to make something to help him focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great.
They set up a lot of small things.
Yeah, I mean, also like how the internet was kind of like Melissa Tomei, she's kind of hot, right?
Mhm.
And they even mentioned that in the movie where he's like, "Is that your aunt? Wow, how did you get this aunt?"
And she's like,
Love that, and also with like
different shapes
Tony
and
kind of flirting with her,
Mhm.
you know.
I thought another great thing that they did, which was very kind of
Ants
low
come in all
key.
shapes and sizes.
Yeah,
Superheroes
was
come on all
set
shapes
up
and
that
sizes.
kind of Brooklyn Queens rivalry
Oh, dude,
between him and
best
Captain
moment.
America, and they set it up in such a just like slide it in way without having to give too much storyline to it. It was just so perfect the way they set that up.
Like now if Spider-Man wants to be mentored, because Spider-Man, one of his idols is Captain America. He loves him, like, and it's like
He loves all of them.
dude, because he's a kid. So
Yeah, he was so amazed by all
He
of them.
sees
It
them
was-
the way we
oh,
see them.
This dude's a New York kid just like me.
Yeah,
And like that's why it's so perfect where it's like these subtle things just set
Queens.
up like now he's gonna
Brooklyn.
now he can have a relationship with Captain America. He already has a relationship with Iron Man. Like it just sets up the
when
universe so
when they're
perfect.
running in the terminal and they're like, "Who's this guy?" And then
Oh,
Falcon's like, "Everyone has to have a gimmick."
Yes, that
That had
was
me
brilliant.
dying.
Because it's like, yo, this dude likes cats, dog. Like when he first sees Black Panther, says
Yeah.
the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yo, some of this guy likes cats or what?
The great part too was even that exchange where he like hits him and he starts explaining, well, I thought the trajectory and this and this and that, and like Falcon's like, usually this doesn't have this much talking, and he's like,
your wings made out of carbon fiber? Because by the flexibility of it, I think and then he's
Homeboy's
like,
just a little nerd, man. Yeah.
but that was perfect. I died.
I love when fucking Winter Soldier punches him and he catches it. And he's like, "Oh, dude,
But
that's
that-
awesome!" And then Winter Soldier's like, "How the fuck did you just catch my punch?"
Did you see how they set that all up? That he had punched people in
Yeah,
the
and
whole
he was
movie.
fucking wrecking people.
Even
Yeah.
Black Panther was like, he got shooken back, and Spider-Man just catches it like nothing.
Oh,
He's like,
dude.
"Holy shit!"
And speaking of which, you just mentioned another character we haven't talked about is Black Panther.
I mean,
he had
really
very
badass.
small portions, but they were
And
phenomenal.
he captures the essence of Black Panther, where it's like, I don't talk, I just whoop your ass.
Yes,
That was Black Panther.
very little words,
Also
but his
royalty,
little
though, right?
words pack a punch. Like, oh, I love it. Even
And
that
Homeboy's
part
just out here
was
looking menacing.
where he's like, I do not care. He was, oh yes, I love it.
Like when Black Widow's like, oh, we're gonna get him, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna kill this.
No, the great
this dude
part.
killed my dad.
Trust me, I'm gonna get him.
I got it.
I love the. Okay, there were really
when
small
he's in
parts.
his plane though. Didn't he kind of remind you of a Batman type scene where he's just flying in the plane going to Serbia?
Yeah,
Yep,
that's exactly what it is. And the two portions. I mean, they're very small and few between, but there were two great moments for feminism. The first one was when Sharon Carter and Black Widow team up in Bucky's escape, and they're fucking that fool up. They're wrecking Bucky.
Yo, Tony had to put his glove on. Scarlet Witch and the other girl, no power. They just went up to him, no fucks given.
They're in their regular clothes and they're out here just handling him down. And even Black Panther has those vibranium shoes.
He has his vibranium shoes.
They don't need that. They're just out here elbowing fools in the head.
The second part, which also served as kind of a disappointment, was when Black Panther came out and stopped Black Widow and his bodyguard from throwing down when she was like, move out the way. And he was like, as entertaining as this would be. That I was waiting. I was like, yes. Like my panties got wet. I was interested in the lesbian action of that. I was so thrilled and he stopped it.
Those Wakanda warriors, those females get
Wakanda warrior against Black Widow. I mean, yes. That's like I'm waiting for the porn parody.
Because that's his personal guard and they know how to fight. They are deadly.
Overall, I mean, we spent a lot of time on Spider-Man. We spent a lot of time on Black Panther, and those were the two new characters. But like each movie that comes out, like Tony's technology, just like now he has a suit that he could put like basically his ring finger and like he suits him up. His watch that becomes a suit. I like his setup of his arc between the movie of like. I mean, this time, not like the comics, you didn't get in the spit in the face, but, you know, the mom, like, there was actual something heavy about the mom who's like, look, this kid, he didn't grow up with anything, with nothing. He put himself through college. Yeah. And, like, he made himself. And, like,
and all he wanted to do was help the world.
Yeah. You know, and he went out there and, you know, he's gone now. And like, how guilty he feels. That and, like, you don't know how also. He doesn't have Pepper Potts, which is also his moral center.
He's still struggling with the same problem he had in the first movie, which was, how can I correct everything I've made to help has hurt everybody?
Exactly.
And that's what he struggled like. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Avengers 2. Like, I mean, everything he's ever created to help people.
I mean, the Stark name. The Stark name is synonymous with like.
Destruction,
weapons. It's all his ego.
I mean, they all know it.
Yeah, his ego is, I want to help the world. Yeah, but everything he does has hurt the world. And like what he hasn't been able to understand is that like maybe you should just step back.
Yeah, that's the thing. He wants to leave something behind to help the world but he could just step away. But I mean, it's not in his character because, like he says, like, look, Pepper Potts asked me to stop, but I'm not gonna stop.
Well, I think he also knows that. Regardless of if he stops, his stuff is already out there and being weaponized. Yeah. So he has to figure out a way to combat it because ultimately it's out there. It's being used against him, against the Avengers, against everyone. He's seeing it used for evil.
Against his friends.
Exactly. So he needs to figure out how to do it. It is his responsibility.
And he's had an opportunity in every single phase to like step away and let other people deal with it, but he doesn't. Like he could have let Rhodey become Iron Man. He could have. He didn't. He's like, no, I'm going to be Iron Man. Even though Rhodey's, he's more trained to be Iron Man because it's like he's a fighter pilot. He's a soldier. Yeah. No, he's going to be Iron Man. Or then when you start meeting superheroes in the Avengers, it's like, all right, I'm just going to be the financier of this. Mm-hmm. But he's still.
No, he wants to be in the middle of it.
And he's going to be Iron Man. And it's like, he's got to learn that like everything, at every step that you try to help, all you're doing is making it worse because like
well, every action has a reaction.
Like you just said, since you've became Iron Man. Yeah. You've brought that challenge of like, yo, who's going to beat him?
Yeah. No, yeah.
And it keeps coming up.
And I don't know.
There's too much stake in the game. He needs to step back.
Do you feel like it would have been a cop-out in the third act?
If they would have been friends?
No, well, I mean, that's what everybody, I'm like, oh, here we go. They're going to fix it. But, you know, the turn? Like, do you feel like we thought, like, are we going to have the Winter Soldier and Captain America take on 5 Winter Soldiers? Like, let's see how that, like, but that they showed up And spoilers,
it was like
they didn't have to.
It was like, how is Iron Man, Captain America, all these other secondary characters, how are they going to come together? Like, what's going to bring them together? So that we hear, like, there's 5 Winter Soldiers. So everyone's like, that's why they're going to get back together.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, son, that's not why we're going to get
exactly.
back together.
But I mean, Marvel's big fault, and everyone that's ever knocked them, is that their villains are not strong. I mean, besides Loki, there hasn't like who's really like a really strong.
But
strong
I think this movie
dead.
proved that you don't necessarily need a strong villain who's going to cause total destruction.
At the end, when he says, "Didn't I though?"
Exactly. I mean, didn't I start the fire from within?
Yeah.
Didn't I topple an empire?
And then Bilbo's like, "What?"
Like, but it's true though.
And Ross is gonna be in
Thunderbolt.
No. Martin Freeman's what is he? Henry Ross.
Well, yeah, that's Black Panther's homeboy.
Yeah.
I just thought it was brilliant. I thought everything about it was brilliant. But they proved you don't need to cause major destruction to have a villain.
That's the thing about like Marvel. Marvel knows who they are. Marvel has always been the comic book franchise that's like, we have great superheroes.
Right.
That's our strong point. Because they know DC's strongest point is their
villains. Yeah.
Their villains are amazing. You're not going to get a better villain than the Joker.
No.
You're not going to get a better villain than Lex Luthor. Like,
but I mean,
Darkseid. Like, these
Captain
are
Zemo,
amazing.
And let's just be honest. Like, their villain was a disappointment in this movie for what it was and for what he is in the comic books. For me, it was a disappointment.
Well,
I was waiting every
suit.
turn for him to become a real like Baron Zemo.
Aesthetically, he's one of my favorite supervillains.
Exactly.
Aesthetically, in the comics, he's.
I mean, like, the purple pinkish mask,
purple, just get up with the fur around him.
Yeah.
Is sick, and his little crown, like.
And the thing is, we could still get it.
Sick, dude. Yeah, we could still get it.
Yeah, we can.
That's the beautiful thing about it.
Because he could be also.
Like, I would have loved to have seen that. Would have been so.
Well, he's part of a villain team too, right?
Yeah, he creates a super villain.
Yes, and I still think that's what they're setting it up for. Because if you notice at the very end when that guy, the agent guy, I forget his name, but when he tells him,
Ross?
"Come on, mess with me. I can make your life miserable."
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna have him set up with the whole, torturous aspect, and then somehow that adhesive X or whatever is gonna come into play, and Zemo will be a villain in a later date. I guarantee it.
That'd be hard.
But all the other movies, right? There's been a puppeteer that they don't know about, kind of pulling the strings, and that's been Thanos. And he still hasn't been able to beat them, or at least even split them apart.
Well, but
no, he hasn't. Yeah. But that this regular guy, he has special training.
How do you know he's not connected to Thanos yet?
Well, that's true. I mean.
Happen, yeah.
I mean, we could, but his beef with them is real. There's a real, a loss of a family.
Well, the same beef that everybody's had is like, yo, dog, like
you've caused so much destruction.
You've saved a lot of lives, but people have still died. Like you haven't saved everybody.
Like the people that have died have connections. They have families. They have a history.
But just like Captain America said, you can't save
everyone.
You can't save everyone. Some lives were saved. Some lives have to end. That's just nature.
That's the beautiful thing about this. It's like, this is realistic. Like, if you were to have people saving things, like, they're not going to save everybody. It's not like cartoons where it's like, I'm going to...
where everyone made it out.
The plane and everybody from the plane is going to make it out alive.
No.
And I also think ultimately it also caused division within the viewers because I felt like there were people who were with Captain America. Like, for instance, for me, I was with Captain America in terms of signing the Accords. I don't think that they should sign them. But then when you get down to what him and Tony are actually fighting about, which in reality is Bucky, not the Accords necessarily. It's Bucky.
Yeah.
When it gets down to Bucky, I totally agree with Iron Man. I think Captain America's a fucking asshole for siding with random guy who's caused destruction.
Not random guy.
Bucky,
childhood friend.
Whatever, still. But he's siding with him. It's not him. That wasn't him when he was doing it. So you should have some sort of sense of backing of your friend. And then to top it all off, they jump him. Like, let's just get to down what it was. If we're looking at
that's a Brooklyn beatdown, dog. You know what I mean?
Jumped him. I'm sorry. I'm from the West Coast. You don't jump nobody. That's on some bitch shit. That's on some bitch shit.
Brooklyn,
they jumped him. Fuck Bucky. Fuck Captain America. They jumped him. Like,
you're from the Upper East Side, huh?
Dog.
Okay, look it. I'm from the philosophy of like, look at this is my homeboy. I grew up with homeboy. He came out of pocket. He's lost his way. But then the other fool's snapping at him, trying to come at him. So I gotta have my boy's back now, no?
Well, but to jump him, you know that shit is not right. Stop it.
You might lose, dog. You can't let your boy lose.
That's your fucking boy's problem. Take his ass whooping like a man.
That's not how. That's not how you do it.
In real life, you can't just sit violent.
Yes, you can. You let him get his lick.
You ain't gonna have somebody from Uptown come and beat the Brooklyn boys, dog. That's not gonna go down like that.
You let him get his licks. He made his bed.
Fuck society, dog.
That was
honestly though, but I mean, if you look at the way Captain America was made, it could have easily been him gotten captured and been turned against.
This is the first time you see Captain America be selfish.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He let everyone he loved take a fall. Black Widow.
Yep.
Is now she's being hunted by the same.
That
people
was harsh because even Iron Man is like, you're a fucking double agent, and she played her double agent role, and now she has no friends.
And now and because it's like, and then Hawkeye had to go to jail. His boy Falcon.
He saved him.
It doesn't matter though.
They all had to go to jail.
Look, in the street mentality, you let them get locked up. That's gonna play a role later.
He let them get locked up.
They're gonna be part of the Secret Avengers.
Because the one person that was tied to his past, that's tied to the person that he actually was before, was in danger. So he was like, you know what? Fuck everybody else. I'm gonna do what I love, and what I love is I gotta protect the person that's known me for the longest, and that's what he did.
But also,
this was the one time he was selfish.
It was the one time he was selfish. But also, there's just so much history there. I mean, the other guy, how many times did he not stand up when he was just some like wimp? You know, and there's that history, and also, and he probably feels guilty that he couldn't save him while they were at war, and he fell off the train and he got captured. Was his fault, man. And it was he carries that with him.
That's life. That's war. Like War Machine said, like 138 missions. That's the fucking name of the game. Like get over it. Like they're both bitches about it. Just admit that you're into each other. Stop with the incestual relationships, and stop jumping people and get to what it is. Like you're protecting your girlfriend. I'm sorry. That's the thing that I am most bothered about. Like that's where I split.
They try to jump Bucky first when they had locked him up. That's messed up. They started the beef.
Well, I mean,
Bucky hadn't done anything. They set him up and they fell for it.
Whose fault is that? That's Bucky for not fucking having verbiage to fucking explain himself. He was just like, I just don't want to talk about this. Like, what the fuck?
All he did was he wanted to buy blueberries and chill in Germany. That's all he wanted to do. He's like, I'm gonna chill, eat these blueberries.
How long was he in hiding? He could have shook Captain America.
I'm just like, of all the places Bucky's gonna go, he's gonna go where the Fuhrer.
Fucking farmers market.
He's gonna go to Germany, like the same people you went to war with.
That, but I'm just gonna fucking stroll at the farmers market because I'm a vegan now. Like,
that's what
the fuck out of here.
You need to stay lean though. He's a lean killing machine. Though.
The fuck out.
No, but honestly, I see where you're coming from, but I mean, what is he just supposed to tell Tony? Like, yo, my best friend killed your mom, so like you want to just you know?
Like he told him in the letter.
He's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I
didn't tell you
to spare your feelings,
to protect you, but because I didn't want to be put in that situation. Because we've all been there. Like we've all been there where you're stuck in between either two friends or like let's say your significant other and a friend or
a lover's quarrel.
Your parent and your sibling and a friend, and it's like you're stuck in this awkward position where it's like. You have to do something like.
But let's be real.
And now they're gonna be at odds, and now you're stuck in a shit place.
It wasn't that simple. It wasn't just like, oh, I just didn't tell you. Like, no, he actively hid that from him because
you had to. Though.
Because, like, come on, how many times have they broken into Hydra facilities? How many times have they had all the paperwork and have all the records there? And this is the first time Tony's hearing about it. No, that was actively hiding that Bucky killed his parents.
He just didn't say nothing. He's like, I
no, it wasn't just not saying anything. And let's be real, if Iron Man, I mean, he had his whole little rift with Black Widow, and let's just call it for what it was. He talked shit to her, not because necessarily she was a double agent, because she as well knew that Bucky murdered his parents, because she released those records.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
So they all knew, and so now Tony's trust is hurt with most of all of them, except for the newcomers.
But I don't know. Did they all know?
Spider-Man, Vision knows. Vision has to know.
Vision knows.
All-knowing. They all know. Basically, his entire team knows, except for War Machine, and Spider-Man, who are his like go-to people right now.
Yeah.
He has no trust with none of his team.
Though.
You know it.
I mean, fuck it. They gave him a phone. Like, hey, you ever need anybody? Ring us up.
Oh yeah, you need a fucking booty call. What the fuck do they think they are, Drake? Hotline Bling? The fuck out of here.
No. Tony being Tony, he could hack the NSA. he could have figured it out if he wanted to. But he was so caught up in how it went down that he made that $20 million or
well, he was caught
$40
up on
million
his guilt of like, yo, I didn't tell my daddy I loved him before he went.
Oh, he just didn't resolve that. Like he had daddy issues, and like you know what I mean, and it didn't get resolved, and he still has like survivor's remorse.
Yeah,
of course.
You know, but that scene where they made him look young, like from
was dope.
From Weird Science and shit. That was dope.
Yeah.
I'm just like, can they make a young Tony Stark movie?
I mean,
a full movie with like? No, of course not.
There's no Sufu, it's just young Tony Stark.
Just parting it up, making weapons in college.
Rob Lowe.
Just fucking tearing it up in that college pussy.
He called up the original pussy pack.
The second Rat Pack. But overall, movie fucking great. I mean, Giant Man.
That was dope, dog. I'm telling you, like Ant-Man did it for me. Like if I had to pick my favorite character out of the whole movie, it was Ant-Man. But I have
Paul Rudd, man.
Paul Rudd.
Fucking Paul Rudd comes and just brings the comedy.
Paul Rudd is just everything.
I mean, like from the minute like he comes out of the van, like he's been sleeping, and then he comes out and he's just shaking his hands, like I think I shook.
What time zone are we in?
He's like, I think I shook it along for too long.
And he's just holding on to Captain America.
Honestly, for me, that was the point where it picked up.
I know you. You're
like,
too.
Don't get me wrong. Like there were great points before that. Like the whole Black Panther capturing Bucky Barnes.
The crossbows fight.
Bucky escaping was great, but everything in between that was kind of like dull for me. And then once Ant-Man appeared and Paul Rudd was on my screen, that was it for me. Like I think you just got your favorite characters. No, it wasn't even that. It was like that moment when he delivers that first line, like you said, when they opened the van.
Yeah,
it was a jovialness that the movie was lacking before.
Well, that's what Marvel is. Marvel is a jovialness.
Exactly, and that wasn't
campiness and it's joy.
That
and
wasn't
it's like
there. And then Ant-Man came up, and then after that, you had even though you had that interaction with Peter Parker at first, and there was that little banter. Once you got him in the suit, and you got the full extent of both Ant-Man and Spider-Man and their banter, it was just sold for me.
Well,
and that picked up in the happiness aspect of the movie.
Do you think it's because in its heart, the movie is still a spy thriller? Countries, accords, which was that coming from Winter Soldier. But the minute
Captain America
they start going against each other, it becomes Avengers 2.5.
No, that's when it became a comic book movie.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what I mean. And I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Up until that point, it was a spy movie. And then at that point, it became a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And that's what I was sold on.
Shit.
And from that moment until the end, I was smiling the entire way through.
I love the whole movie.
And even without Hulk and the Thor, which I thought, how are they going to make that work? I want them there.
Yeah.
But you want them there.
Your heart wants them there, of course.
Team.
Yeah.
But it so worked without it. It was so great.
Who's gonna go against the Hulk?
Honestly, the point that I started loving it was when they showed the first clip, the first scene with Winter Soldier getting that super soldier serum. I was like, oh, this is where they're going. Because from the comics, Winter Soldier was the one that killed Howard. Mm-hmm. He's the one that killed Howard Stark, and I was like, this is how they're gonna do it. And I was like, this is so dope, dude. That they're I was like, this is the way you drive a wedge between friends. It's like, what was the one thing that Tony is not going to be able to forgive? Is like, this dude killed my family.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, this had become his surrogate family.
Mm-hmm.
But his real family...
And he destroyed both families.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't even have Pepper to be his other family. Like,
I mean, he doesn't have even a good track record of being good to his own family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's treated parents like, he was like a spoiled teenager.
Basically, Bucky destroyed every aspect of his potential family, whether surrogate or real.
Because like Scarlet Witch,
Black Widow.
Black Widow, even in this one kind of felt something for like, you know what, Tony, you're kind of an idiot. Like most of the time, I think you're like, you're a jackass. But she felt bad for him. Even like she goes up to him and she like grabs his shoulder. She's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "You know what? We're gonna be all right." And then that's when he tells him he's gonna go.
I love Black Widow because she's the glue that holds everybody together, and she's like,
or is she playing them though?
She's the Swiss Army knife of the group. No, I think
they don't trust her.
No, I think she isn't. I think she's the one that has the biggest big picture. Mm-hmm. Vision of them all, because she's like, she understands the importance of all of them sticking together.
Yeah,
and she's the one that actually cares about every single one of them, because
she can be objective.
She's
because she let us know she can never have a family of her own because she can't reproduce. These are her,
but she was there.
This is her family. Like,
she was there with Nick
takes
Fury,
care of all of them. Like, look at she
was there with Fury making the team.
She's the matriarch of it all.
She was close. Yeah, she was close with Nick Fury to making the team.
She brought in Hulk.
She's the one that got closest to Hulk. She's the one that was closest to Captain America up until Falcon and Bucky.
Yeah.
She's the one that's been there from Iron Man since Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
She's been there for all of them. And she's always the one that's looking out after all of them. She's the closest to Hawkeye. She's the only one that Hawkeye was actually able to trust with, like, I have a family. This is my family.
Yep.
Like, she's the one that everyone trusts because she's the one that always looks out after all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like she said, she's the main.
She has the Avengers' best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's got the best vision. She understands the purpose.
There was 2 tough scenes for me, like as a viewer who's been sticking around with this forever and is invested emotionally in it. There's 2 scenes that really hurt me. The one at the end where it was, Captain America putting his shield into Iron Man's chest and then him walking away and he's like, you don't deserve that shield, and him throwing it and just knowing that Avengers as a whole are over at that point. Like that hurt. Like that whole fight scene hurt my heart legitly. And then the other one was when Iron Man and Black Widow exchange words and he calls her a double agent, when he yells at her and says, like, I can't trust you either.
And he's like,
that hurt me as well. Like that was a divorce.
And she's like, yo, you got to get over yourself. Like, don't you understand? Like,
yeah,
you were wrong.
Yeah.
And I knew you were wrong. And that's why I let him go. And he can't get over it. Like, he lost. And that's the whole thing. It's his ego.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that he wants to be the one that saves the day, and he's wrong.
But the thing is, like, they need, like, when Winter Soldier tells them, like, there's 5 more of me, they're like, you know who, like, what would make it all easy? If we just call Tony right now. And if we bring him in the fold, this all gets resolved, but we can't do it.
Well, because again, Captain America's being selfish and is like, Captain America knows Bucky should be in jail. Like, Bucky has done. Even though he wasn't in control, he did those things. Like Bucky recognizes it. He says, "I don't know." Like he's like, "Yeah, look, I know." He's like, "Look, I know I wasn't all there, but I still did those."
But when Hawkeye was mind controlled by Loki, do you also fault him for bringing in all the aliens? I mean, people died.
But Hawkeye, if you notice, Hawkeye knows he was wrong.
But that's different.
Bucky knows he was wrong. They both know what they did doesn't matter. They did wrong things.
But then but if they're willing to repay for their shit.
But again, the people that care about him forgive him. Black Widow forgave him. Oh, don't worry about it. That's why Captain America was like, he forgives Bucky because it's like Bucky's the last remnant of his old life, and that's what he cares about.
And I also think what makes it different as well is the fact that, I mean, regardless, they're the same situations. They understand it was both wrong. But what makes it different was that when Hawkeye was doing it, it was in the moment. It was part of the active plan that he got, he succumbed to this mind control idea. So they were all in on it at the same time and actively trying to control it versus Bucky, who was acting as this agent for a long period of time and creating these monstrosities over like decades.
Well, they were freezing them and unfreezing them and then forcing them.
But again, like Bucky hurt someone on a personal level, whereas like the other ones didn't. Mm-hmm. The other one.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Didn't manage to do it.
They did hurt people,
but
not them personally.
On a personal level, like
right.
The one Coulson was a personal.
Well,
pain.
for once,
and that was
once,
again,
Tony knows how it feels, how that lady felt when her son died.
Yes, exactly. And regardless of whether
now
it's say it or not, whether you're superhero or not, what this movie is ultimately driving at is that people are not as more. Don't have as much morality as they claim they do. When it hits home, you're driven by feeling and emotions ultimately. Ultimately, you're run by emotion.
That's the whole beautiful arc of like Black Panther's like, yo, like
that was a perfect
vengeance,
speech.
like this vengeance. And
well, he's Zen though.
He realizes he's like,
well, because he can. I mean, one of his powers is that he could like have all the feelings and memories of all the other Black Panthers.
And then the other thing is like he realizes like I've been mad at Bucky and I was willing to kill this man even though he was innocent. Yeah, it was because I couldn't see it. I was too caught up.
I was caught up in vengeance.
It's like it took this man confessing to what he did.
Yeah,
to realize like, oh, like you have to put all that shit aside and realize like you got to do what's actually the best reason where you're like justice has to be met.
Well, sometimes to be a king, dog, you have to, have your like lay of the land type of deal. You know what I mean? You have to see besides yourself and what you want. And see what's better for the people type of shit.
His moments were brilliant.
Black Panther didn't say much, but the dude
when he did, the other side said, like, he wasn't there a lot. Like, when people were like, oh, my God, he stole the show. I expected him
Plus, he could also do a killer James Brown.
More on screen than what he was, just based off of, like, the hype from people. But I understand, like, he wasn't there a lot. He was in very little scenes, but when he was there, he packed a punch. He made himself known.
I think the Russos did such a magnificent job in, like, juggling.
His technology, though, his suit. Yeah. I mean, if it makes Spider-Man, which he's not going to have for the next movie, because I think he's going to keep the same suit. But for Infinity War, if they have vibranium weave suits, how fucking dope are those going to be?
But I think the Russo brothers did a magnificent job in, like, giving everybody their time to shine and giving everybody an important
role. Yeah.
In this movie and in the universe.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, this
everyone
is
had even like
what's the female agent? Like when
Sharon
even
Carter?
Even Sharon Carter had an important.
You mean her ancestral scene?
I mean, he's had her grandma, her aunt?
I know. I still have a problem.
He's had the great aunt.
I've always had a problem with that.
What?
They're a generation separated.
It doesn't matter. It's ancestral. That's her great uncle. That shit's nasty.
It's not her great uncle.
And he was looking at her all skeevy at the fucking funeral. Like, I want some of that.
They're not related. She just was messing around with her.
First of all, he was looking at her like this was fucking Wedding Crashers, and he was Will Ferrell, and he was like, "So you feeling lonely tonight?" It was weird.
But
it's a hard emotional time for him.
She directly addressed him, though. It's not
whatever.
It's like everything's falling apart. They just killed these people in Nigeria,
and she told him,
and
you be you, boo, you be you.
And he gets the text, "Hey,
I kept this shit from my aunt. Don't worry.
Your one true love,
we on the down low,
right?
Also died."
Becky with the good hair, call me.
His true love dies as well, so now he has to deal with that. His friends being hunted.
And now he gets Peggy 2.0.
I ain't sorry.
All right, so now to wrap this up, the post-credit scenes. Did you guys like them?
I personally did not.
I
liked it because we're gonna get Captain. We're gonna get Winter Soldier later on because he's being frozen for a better purpose.
Yeah.
We get to see
Infinity War.
We get to see the dope fucking technology that Wakanda has because it was like this is level technology that Helen Choi had in Age of Ultron.
Yep.
It's like it's that same like, and they had just gotten it. These people have had this technology because they're set already.
And Wakanda's been hiding like. Their whole thing was like they're a nation who's like really highly advanced, but they're not up in the front. And the dad told them, the king, T'Challa, was like, son, T'Chaka, sorry. Yeah. We have to be more involved. So that's why they were coming to United Nations. And like, unfortunately he died. But like, I feel like the setup for Black Panther, when they just pan to the right and they show the big Panther and like the beautiful like scenery, you're like, yo, that movie's gonna fucking.
We gotta do it for the brother.
That was great. That was great but for me personally, I felt like it was introductory and it didn't really propel anything forward. It wasn't setting up any anticipation for me.
It's not the post credit scene of like Thanos. It's not like
exactly. I think that's what was lackluster for me.
It's just assuring you of like
yo, these movies are coming.
This shit is coming up, dog.
And I thought it wasn't really necessary. Like they could. They just dropped. I mean,
but the beautiful thing is that I think they might be moving into the arena of like, let's stop introducing the next thing in these post credits, and let's just assure the things that we know. That way, in the next movies, we can introduce things so that people get excited again. Yeah, and we don't get that Age of Ultron feel of like, all right, I already knew everything here was coming. Yeah. What's happening next, though?
I agree. Yep. They used to use it as a marketing tool, and now they're not.
And now it's like, all right, now we're just going to give you some fan service and give you this extra little, like,
the only reason they're doing it now is because we expect it.
Now we're going to give you this joyous feel, but when you watch our next movie, you will be excited. You will get to see that Queen's... Like, when you see Queens light up and it's like Spider-Man, son, or you saw that trailer and it's like Spider-Man's in it, you're like, oh my God. Like, you get that post-credit feel, but now it's for the next thing, and now you get that excitement.
Yeah, I get it now. Right. That perspective does change things.
And it's like, and now, because like, even with the Spider-Man at the end, it's like, you got another great Peter Parker scene where it's like, he's talking to his aunt about what happened to him, and he's like, oh, I got in a fight with this guy named Steve from Brooklyn. And you laugh because it's like, that's Captain America. You should have seen his other friend though. He's huge. Oh, Ant-Man reference. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then it's like he sees and it's like.
But his technology, it's like
the Spider-Man network that fucking Tony hooked him up with, and it's like
Friday basically, but without like the AI.
Yeah.
That means he's got like a super like.
Yeah, that means he's gonna have a working relationship with Tony in his movie. and he's gonna kick ass.
And that should have been an indication of where they were going, because now that you say that, now looking back, they did the same thing kind of with Ant-Man. Ant-Man was the same thing. It just showed the wasp suit, and that was it. And I'm thinking back to Ultron. Ultron didn't really propel it forward too much either. So I think
plus it's like
now that
if
you say that, it does make sense. That is where they're going. But that is why I was
Doctor Strange is next, right? And then what? Guardians? They can't tie those movies because they had nothing to do with it. So if you get a post-credit scene that has nothing to do with this movie, it kind of like tonally it throws off the movie because you're like, where the hell did this come from? But you still tie it into the characters that were in this movie and are excited for the future of these.
The Age of Ultron post-credit scene was which one? Was it the Thanos one where he takes the gauntlet out, or which one was it?
Isn't it the one where he says, "I have to do this myself"? Or no, that's Guardians, isn't it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember the Ultron scene now, but it was
no, because
it was Bucky, no?
Because it was a preview. It was a preview of Civil War.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, because the Guardians one was Howard the Duck.
Yep.
Yeah. So then because it's like.
And the shawarma?
Yeah, well, that was Avengers.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But it's pretty
there's
much
no
just them, all right, the stuff you think's coming, that's coming. But we're not going to give you anything new anymore.
I mean, the great part was just seeing it like in live action, but I just thought, now that I'm putting in perspective,
I mean, honestly, the post-credit scene where Homeboy gets the phone and you see them kind of like they're going to break out and there's going to be a secret Avengers and then there's going to be the main Avengers. That could have been a post-credit scene, but... Yeah. They kept it in the movie because that was kind of the ending of the film.
Well, and also they needed Stan Lee's appearance with Tony Stank.
That was hilarious.
That was probably his funniest cameo.
I don't know, where he's a stripper DJ is still pretty solid from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
Overall, great movie. If you haven't seen it, you guys go see it.
Watch it.
And still one of my favorite moments in that movie is when they have Winter Soldier in the arm clamp, and he's like, "What Bucky are you?" And he's like, "Your mom's name was Sarah, dog, and you used to wear paper shoes." And then Cap's like, "All right, it's him." And then Falcon's like, "That's it? Like this? We're gonna trust him now, dog?
Yeah.
All this fool said is your mom's name and that you fucking used to wear paper shoes, dog." Which to me was just like, that's such a perfect, like, whether it was intended or not, it's such a perfect jab at BVS. It's like, these fools know what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
These fools are out here playing games, dog. And
the shade.
That's hype.
Right? Low key was like, that fool would have said yo mama joke because that's how dudes get along. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, all these fucking superheroes, like everything gets squashed when you mention your mom. Like,
but that's dudes
my
though.
Mom. Like, that's why it made me so laugh that Falcon was like, "That's it. Now we trust him, dog. Like this is what's going on." He said your mom's name and he said they used to wear newspaper.
Yeah,
shoes,
exactly.
Dog.
Fucking brilliant. The shade of it all.
Mentioning a mom's name could start a fight, but like from what we saw from Batman vs Superman, it could also end the fight.
It could save the day.
It could also save the day.
Now you're ride or die.
Overall, Civil War, one of the better Marvel movies to come out in a long time.
That's my favorite one.
Mine too.
I was so happy.
Like super rewatchable, just like Guardians. I think Guardians also has like this great rewatchability.
I think for me, it's like
great set pieces.
To me, it's like Civil War, Avengers, and Guardians for me.
Yeah.
Right.
If I had to list top 3, like that's my top 3.
And kids, movies you could have your kids watch as well.
Hell yeah.
And be entertained.
Like that's the beauty of it. It's like this is like family entertainment, but it still entertains you as a person.
As a grown man. Levels. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it twice.
I have as well.
I saw it twice in 24 hours.
And we already have tickets to go see it again.
Yeah, and freaking same smiles, like same wide smiles, like literally to the point where my cheeks were hurting.
Still get chills.
Like this.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, of course go see it. Spoilers, obviously, and well, I mean it's a little late at this point.
In case you didn't get the first one.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and stay tuned for more reviews, from more summer movies to come out. And thank you guys for watching. I'm Nestor.
I'm Missfitharley.
I'm Juan.
And thank you guys.